welcome to another episode of The Punk Rock Raider. My name is Dirty D from Dirty T. I'm the Punk Rock Raider. Yeah, I was on hiatus for a little bit. I had a lot going on, and a lot of stuff to work on, kind of like figure out and plan. A lot of events that have been happening the last couple weeks. We had Valentine's Day. We had Mardi Gras celebration. We had a lot of stuff going on, so I apologize that I've been slacking a little bit, but I have a lot of content I've been working on, a lot of things that I've been working on, including Patreon is up. Content will be starting to go up on the Patreon within the next few days. I've got 3 different levels for it. One is going to give you access to exclusive videos for Patreon. That's where I'm going to probably do most of, if not all of, my actual film breakdowns. I'm going to have some extra posts there, maybe little almost like article-style posts with some, just like specific guys I like. Might release like individual scouting reports here and there. I have a lot of interesting stuff planned for that. And Tier 2 is going to give you access to my full draft guide, which is going to start with rankings. First rankings I'm going to do is safeties. I'm going to do a video on safeties pretty soon as well, within the next few days, kind of a safety primer video. But I will have all my safety rankings, my full scouting reports, and I'm going to add position by position as I do that. You're going to get to see my full rankings and scouting reports. Start with the top 15, and we'll keep adding players after that. And until we get top 50, top 100, all of my rankings will be in there. All my scouting reports will be in there. And then the final tier will not only give you access to all that information, all that awesome, wonderful content, but it's also going to give you the ability to tell me if there's something specific you want, whether it's for the YouTube channel, whether it is additional content on Patreon, if there's, a specific player that you want me to do a film breakdown of, if you want a specific talk pick for me to talk about, something that I'm not giving you, I will give it to you. If you request it, if you're part of Tier 3, as well as I will also give you demos from my punk rock band. If you are into punk rock music, if you are a true punk rock raider and you want to hear what I've been working on, stuff that I got going on musically, hey man, I will absolutely share that with you as well. You'll get exclusive access to my band's demos as well. So we're going to go on, get into the episode today. I'm going to do a 2-part episode. I should release both today. They're going to be on my Combine primers because Underwear Olympics starts tomorrow, y'all. A lot of people's favorite event of the draft season, except for the draft, of course. And it is valuable. It's good to verify testing. It's good to see guys out there. It's most valuable for the teams, rather the pageantry that we get to see. Right, the interviews are really important. Medicals are really important. So what we're talking about today, we're doing the primer when we're talking about guys that might fall, might rise. A lot of the falling is going to be like medicals. It's going to be potential like character interview stuff. That is something that's going to be really important in this process. So I'm going to go down position by position. We're going to start with offense. I'm not going to try to talk about one guy too much. We're just going to go over, who I think is going to be the star of the position at the Combine, who I think could potentially rise at the Combine, who I think could potentially fall at the Combine, and who I think needs to have a good testing to change the narrative or keep the narrative, right? Who's maybe their testing is going to depend on, like, maybe we're underrating something about them and we can change the narrative and they might make themselves a lot of money, really boost their stock, or potentially hurt their stock or stay in the same place. So we're going to start with quarterback. It's a really weak quarterback class, so there's not too many people to talk about. There's not too many people to put in these buckets, but I can guarantee you Taylor Green is going to blow it up. He is a ridiculous athlete. He is big. He's got a big arm. The quarterback stuff isn't great, uh, but he could absolutely have himself a Joe Milton-esque combine. I don't think his arm's quite as big, but it is really big, and he's a really good pause. He has a lot of arm strength, and he's a crazy fucking athlete. So he's gonna blow up the combine. As far as risers, like there's not a lot of guys that I think you can really put into this bucket. So I'm gonna put Cole Payton because his combination of size, athleticism, and I think he has a good arm. If he showcases really good arm strength, if he interviews really well, he only has 1 year of starting experience. He's a guy that I don't think we're going to be talking about him as a day 2 guy, but he could go from back end of the draft to earlier to mid day 3 if he really puts good testing numbers out there. If he has everything you want physically from a quarterback, he's a guy that you can stash, develop. Maybe he's never your starter, but he could be a spot starter, or maybe there is something there. Who knows? As far as followers go, Drew Aller, I don't believe he's going to be testing because of the injury that he has sustained towards the end of the year. But the medicals, I still have people talking about him as like a day 2 guy. That's crazy to me. If the medicals don't go well, or even if it's just like you're not going to get him, he's going to miss some training camp, all a training camp, you're going to spend capital on that. I don't know. That can really drop him for where people are still talking about him as an interesting developmental guy. And then Ty Simpson, I don't think there's a way he's not quarterback 2 unless magically Trinidad Chambliss comes into the class again. And even then, at this point, how much time he's missed of this whole process, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it would be more of like a supplemental draft thing for Trinidad Chambliss if that's the case. But I don't think there's anything special about his physical traits other than he is like decently athletic. He's like mobile enough. He's got some mobility to him. He can move a little bit, but he's not running. He's gonna do some athletic testing, but he's not gonna run. And like if his arm, he's not a big guy. If he just goes out there and doesn't look like a round 1 quarterback, like this could really drop him from people talking about him as back into the first guy, or maybe even we're talking end of the 2nd or 3rd round, depending on what he looks like, right? Like this is a 1 quarterback class, and he could, depending on what he looks like, that could be solidified even further. And then as far as who needs to test well, Kate Klubnik can run. That dude can run. He's pretty fast, and this was a horrible year for him. Things did not go well. Things didn't go well for him at the Shrine Bowl, but if he interviews well, if he answers the questions of, hey, what happened this year really well, he moves and runs really well, shows some RPMs throwing the ball, shows a little more juice, shows everything that we liked about him as a passer going into the year, and shows some competitiveness, some spark, hey, maybe he does climb up to that quarterback 3 spot, solidifies him as quarterback 4, if he has a really good draft process. And then I also put Diego Pavia there as well because like he's crazy small, but if he runs really well, if he interviews really well and shows he's got some more arm strength, he's got good enough, like if he's got good arm strength, like NFL quarterback arm strength, maybe he can shift the conversation a little bit for him to be more of a draftable, even like mid day 3 draft pick. Going on a running back, no surprises here for who's going to be the star. It's Jeremiah Love. That guy is going to test well. He's going to measure well. You're going to love everything about him. He's going to blow up the fucking combine. He's going to look good in receivers drills. He's going to move well. He's going to jump well, everything. So no surprises there. Seth McGowan could rise up this is a great event for him because there's some things that happened early in his college career he's going to get to interview about, and apparently, he is a really mature guy that loves football now, and he talks a lot about how much he learned from the mistakes he made. So he has an opportunity to really kind of answer those questions. If people really like him, they like his character's growth. He's got good size. If he tests really well, does all the right things, like this is a running back class that a lot of people are really not high on. I like it more than other people do. I think there's plenty of NFL capable contributors. I think there's a fair amount. There's at least 5 to 7 guys I think can contribute in the NFL, and he'll have a chance to jump into that running back for conversation. Maybe even the 3 or 2. I think that there's people that already like him a lot. Trevor Sikkema really likes him a lot of PFF and the NFL Stock Exchange, so he can really jump up people's boards in the overall conversation with a good combine. As far as like fallers, I put Jonah Coleman. I think we know what he is. I just think more so, and this goes in conversation with people that need to test well, is he running back 2 or does he end up running back 5? Maybe running back 6, based off the testing. If he just like is lower on the testing thresholds, if he kind of looks out of shape, if I don't know, like some people have issues with his body composition. Like I like Jonah Coleman a lot. He's the biggest chance I see of like going from running back 2 to running back 6. And then Emmett Johnson is one of the people that is going to be in the conversation for running back 2. But how well does he test? How big is he? How does he, like, based off of his size and athleticism, like, all right, are we going to be a little concerned about him as an actual NFL lead back or one of your main guys in your committee? Do we think he can be your starter, or do we think he's a rotational guy, or what do we think after we see him test and we actually see him in person? And then Katron Allen, I think no one's expecting him to be athletic. And I'm not saying he's going to be athletic, but if he's more athletic than we think he is, if he tests better than we think he's going to test, does he enter that running back 3 conversation? I think Emmett Johnson there's a lot of variance of if he checks all the boxes. We could be talking about him as running back 2. If he doesn't, we could be talking about him as running back 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, or 8. I didn't do it. God fucking damn it. Katron Allen, I think we know where he is, but if he's more as an athlete than we think he is, maybe we talk about him as 3, 4, 5, not 6 to 8. God damn it, I'm mad that that happened, but whatever. We're moving on to wide receivers. And this is going to be a really good showcase for guys like Zachariah Branch and Deion Burks. Both are going to test out of the water. They're both small, but I think their level of explosiveness, speed, change direction, how they're going to look in the drills, I think they can. Deion Burks has really good hands, at least from what we've seen. Maybe he proves us wrong, but I think this is going to be a really good event for them. Ted Hurst is who comes to mind for potential risers because I think he is going to test very well. And with his size, he is going to offer something that people want, which is a big vertical X receiver. And he might jump into like the firm day 2 conversation. Malik Benson is going to blow up the athletic portion of it. I think he's got adequate, like decent size. I don't think he's small. So he can jump from the no one's people talking about as undrafted guy to a mid day 3, maybe even early day 3 guy. And then Caden Wetchen, the kick returner from Iowa, who was amazing at the Shrine Bowl. He's, again, going to be smaller, but if he runs really well, if he tests really well athletically and looks really good in the drills, we're going to start talking about him more as like a day 3 guy where he came into this process firmly an undraftable player. Last skill position we've got here, tight end. I think there's a clear top 2, and those 2 guys are going to blow it up. We already know Kenyon Sadiq is a ridiculous athlete. I think he's going to look like a ridiculous athlete. But people, I think, sleep on how athletic Eli Stowers is. I've heard people say they don't think he's a good mover. He was a track guy in high school, like a really good one. He's going to blow this fucking event up. Daquan Wright is a really athletic guy. He's a big guy. I think he's going to have a good event. Michael Trigg is a really athletic guy, really good mover. I think if he looks really good, in all the athletic testing, he tests as well as we think he can test, and he looks good in the receiving drills. You can absolutely look at what went on with Aronde Gatson the second last year and go, hey, we can put him in that role. Copycat league, right? And then Max Clare, I don't think is going to test great, and I think we'll start having the day 3 conversation if he doesn't, like early day 3. But we'll start going. Is he capable of being a starting tight end, or are we looking at just tight end 2? Maybe he still goes 3rd round with that, but I think the conversation changes a lot for a guy that came in to the year. A lot of people's tight end 1, tight end 2, potentially a 1st round player. Jack Endries, as well, as someone that I see a lot of people talking about as a 4th round player. If he doesn't test well, like I don't think this is the Gunnar Helm thing. I don't think his tape is good enough where if he's a below average athlete, what are we talking about here? And then I think Joe Royer, who is a fantastic receiver but struggles as a blocker, has a lot to gain if he can test well. If we test how I don't think we expect him to be a burner. And I think with that in mind, he's probably a firm day 3 guy, round 5, round 6 guy. If he tests better than we think he is, he has a lot of opportunity to jump up boards. Not going to hit day 2 probably, but we could be talking about him where we're talking about Jack Endries. Like, they can flip position very easily in my mind. I broke up offensive line into tackle versus interior lineman. As far as tackle goes, Spencer Fano is going to be electric, I think. He is such a good, explosive mover. I think he's going to erase the conversation of can he play tackle with how freakishly athletic I think he's going to be. Caden Proctor, just his size plus athleticism is going to blow people out the water. And Monroe Freeling, who I almost put as a potential riser, is just with, again, arm length, height, and movement skills, I think, is going to solidify all the hype he's been getting because of the athlete he is. I think Emil Wagner can really solidify himself as a 4th round player. He can really move up. I still see people talking about him as a later day 3 guy. I don't think that's going to be the case. And then Drew Shelton fits that same category because I think he's athletic and he's got the length. And there's just not enough people that physically can play tackle in the NFL. And if you can do that, people are going to draft you earlier than they probably should. Caleb Tiernan, who has really good tape, isn't going to have the arm length. And if he doesn't test well, I can't remember the guy I really liked last year from West Virginia who fell further than people thought he should have. I think that's what we're talking about with Caleb Tiernan. Does he play guard? Do you want a 6'6", 6'8", probably in the middle guard? That's kind of tall. Some people hate tall guards. So we'll see. And then I think I won't ramble too much about Jennings Dunker here, but this could be potentially, because I expected more talk about him being able to play tackle after he verified 34-inch arm length. That was a big talking point of why he couldn't play tackle. Doesn't have requisite length. Well, he does. Still, people are like, no, he's just a guard, though. If he moves better than some people think he's going to move, if he shows better foot speed, I think he's a knee bender, not a waist bender. If he shows he has the athleticism to play tackle, you got to start having the conversation. I think it changes the conversation. It should change the conversation. The question should already be being asked, and it isn't being asked enough. And I think he has the opportunity. He has the opportunity, if he tests well, if he looks really good in drills, to change the narrative. I hope he changed the narrative because I love Jennings Duncan. And last, we do interior offensive lineman. Vega Owane, I think, is going to be as advertised. He's guard number one, and true guard number one in this class at least. Sam Hecht is going to look really good. He's going to test really well. He's a really good athlete. And people are starting to talk about him as center one. He might become center one after this. I almost put Logan Jones here, but I put him in a riser because people talking about Logan Jones is like he's a 6th-round pick. And I think the tape's really good, and he's an amazing athlete. He's a fantastic athlete, and I think he's going to potentially have the best testing scores of any offensive lineman in the whole combine. So he could really move up from late day 3 to early day 3 based on how he performs in the combine. Connor Liu, I don't think he's testing because he has an injury. Because of that injury, medicals are going to be really important. And people still are discussing him as center one in this class. I think he is the best center in the class on tape from what I've seen. I need to still do my deep dive there. But the injury could change where he's taken. Because if he's going to miss training camp and if he's a year behind, you're missing a year of his rookie contract, essentially. Where do you take? Do you take that day 2? I don't think you do. And then I have Keelan Rutledge as needs to test well because I don't think he didn't have a bad Senior Bowl week, but I don't think it was as good as people wanted it to be. And if he is a average athlete here, I think he goes from the guy everyone's like, should be a 3rd-round pick, no one's talking about him, to Dennis Green. They are who they thought they were. Who we thought they were type of player. So that does it for me today. At least for this episode. I'm going to be releasing another episode very shortly about defensive primer for the combine. Again, I'm going to put the Patreon in the description. Please check it out. Sign up, and I will have a lot of content soon. If you want to wait till I have content, that's fine, but it's going to be dropping pretty soon, and I think you're going to like a lot of what you see. If you haven't done so already, a free way that you can support me that is really helpful is if you subscribe to the channel, like the video. My name is Dirty D from Dirty T. I am the Punk Rock Raider. You'll have a great rest of your night.